Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. It's a beautiful day. What a wonderful time to be alive. Um, I want to thank you all for keeping faith with us and staying in tune to join us every weekend on Saturday, giving us access to come into your rooms, into your homes, as we bring you updates as regards your health. All we do is just to ensure that we give you enough information that can help you stay healthy in line with what your doctors and healthcare providers are doing for you. I'm your regular host. My name is Deji Alabi. Um, today we're going to be continuing on the series that we began last. It's about 3 weeks right now, and I hope I'll be able to cap this series this week, or if I don't this week, I'll do next week because I want to go on to something more very important, not more important. They are all important, but something very important that we need to pay attention to, even as we uh, resuming back to normal life um, in the wake of this pandemic. Good afternoon, ma. Thank you, Mr. Adewumi. Please do us a favor. You can share this meeting, this broadcast, invite your friends, like. It's also important just on your YouTube channel, just push the like button. That's so important. And then if you are watching us from Facebook, you could please share it and let other people also come to see. You can invite your friends and let them know that the program is already started. Okay, so we have people joining us on Instagram already. We have people joining us on YouTube. Nobody yet on Facebook. Guess they are still looking for the solution to the problems of Nigeria. I pray they find it. Um, that said, I need to also state that the reason I would want to kind of abruptly end this broadcast, this series on men's health, is to quickly address the issues that are on ground. The mental health pandemic is about to eat. It's already rushing. It's at the door. Um, what I intend doing is to provide solution that could protect you and your loved ones before it becomes a pandemic that eats everyone. Already, we know that we are short-staffed. Not just in it's not a Nigerian thing. This is a global thing that a whole lot of preparations are not in place when it comes to combating this pandemic that has eat everyone. It's eat our economy. It has eat everything that we all owe there. People are dying right, left, and center. It's going to be the second wave of it. Well, second wave could mean many things to many people, but by saying second wave, what I mean is that the next pandemic that may likely eat us is the mental health pandemic. And for reasons that I'll be discussing in the subsequent series. So please, I would like you to stay glued with us. If you are not following us yet, you can go ahead and follow us on Instagram, Nutraceutical Led Solutions. You can follow us on YouTube, Nutraceutical Led Solutions. You can follow us on Facebook, Nutraceutical Health Solutions. And you can get those updates, especially as we begin to handle all of these issues as they all start to unfold, right? As they all start to unfold. Um, our college is going to be ending this weekend where we should be presenting our first. They are not our first set of graduates. We've had other people who had gone to our school before. These graduates will be presented after going through the 1 month of training. I personally see to that, that whoever at all is coming from our school is going to be grounded, well grounded, and we're going to have a lot of them that are going out there. I'm also very excited about our FASH boot camp. I know your kid did not come to FASH. If your kid did not attend FASH, your kid missed a lot. The FASH boot camp is going to end next weekend. This is the second weekend. It's a 3 weekend program for young people between the ages 8 and 16. It's been tremendous. We had a session this morning, and I was amazed. There was a young girl who had gone to trash virtually everything in their house. Like, all of these things you be feeding me with can kill me. I don't want them. She trashed them. That's how powerful knowledge is. And the reason we ran the FASH bootcamp is because most of the adverts that are done by these health destroying foods are targeted at our children. And so, if we harm our kids with knowledge, even in our absence, they will know what to eat, what to feed on, because we can lay a solid foundation for longevity and health for them, even from that age. So, the boot camp is awesome. It's been going on. We're gonna finish that next weekend, and that session is coming up tomorrow. They run Saturday, Sunday for 3 weekends, and then the Hormone Reset boot camp is also ongoing. I forgot. I'm so sorry. I was caught up in so many things. The graduation of the first boot camp. You will see the adverts. A lot of things have been compiled together. We are going to put them to social media very shortly about the success of that first boot camp. It was a success. The people came, they participated, and then we had a nice time. Okay, so please stay tuned as we will be dealing with those mental health issues in subsequent editions. But for today, give me time to go back and then address the issues we have in our hands that has to do with the men's health, the health of our men. I've given the the statistics in previous editions, and you will see how men are so. As men, we can be so careless most times with our health. Sometimes it's out of carelessness. Yeah, Komeno, you are part of the class now. Sometimes it's out of carelessness, utter carelessness. Irikefe, Oloku, how are you, sir? Or ma, how are you? Sometimes it's out of carelessness that we do this. Sometimes it's because of our passion to take care of our family members that we do this. It puts on us untold hardship, untold pressure that is placed on our health. And these have serious effects. Statistics have told us that more male children are born at birth than female children, than the girl child. But when they begin to reach the age of 45, the table begins to turn because the male kids are dying. Men die more than women. By the age of 45, 55, 65, we are going to be having more women than men who are alive. And then the statistics for longevity across the nations of the world is even scary. And then it's scarier when we come to places like Nigeria, West African countries. It's even worse in some Southern African countries where they have been ravaged and plagued by HIV and some terrible pandemics. Now, the point is that these things need not be. It's not like there are life sentences passed on us as people of color if we really know what to do and we strive to do the right thing. So information is so important. Now look at this program now because it's for men. I've been observing this since this program started. A lot of men don't come up. when we're handling the women's health, the hormone health, people are kind of waiting for us to just launch. You will see people there, but men, they don't. Same thing happens to. I've had people who say that to mock the church. They'll be like, "What are the people you find most in churches with women?" It's true because women take care of themselves more. And that is why a lot of focus is going on to educating women and to empowering women because they will take care of the men, take care of the children, right? But men, you won't find them there. Yeah, and they do all sorts of things that are not helping or complementary to their health. And so today, I will skip a few things. Yes, last week was very detailed. If you missed last week episode, it's on YouTube, it's on Instagram, and it's on Facebook. My advice is to go back and watch the episode of last week on cardiovascular health. It is very key. The things I will share today will take its foundation from that of last week, and then we will build on it and I'm trying to, as much as possible, see if I can round up this series this week, since they're not even coming. But I'm just kidding. All right. I'm trying to see what I can do to actually round it up. But I will start, and then I pray God for time to be able to really dissect and break certain things down. Number one, we spoke about cardiovascular health last week, and we said that one of the signs and symptoms you would pay attention to know that your cardiovascular health is in trouble is your sexual health. Now, if we attack this program now, how to go 10 rounds on a woman is going to be fooled by now. But they don't understand. The fact is that the moment you are beginning to have sexual problems, not sexual problem right now, you're having sexual dysfunction. Like as a man, you cannot maintain an erection, you cannot sustain an erection, or you cannot have an erection. It's an indication that something is wrong, or it could be an indication that something is wrong with your cardiovascular health. And then we need to start paying attention to your cardiovascular health. But unfortunately, you pay attention to the sexual health, not the cardiovascular health, which is the reason most of those herbs, most of those concoctions that are being sold out there in the market to empower, to help libido, they are making tons of money. They are cashing out on the main folks because they believe you're only a man when you can run 10 rounds. You can have 10 girlfriends and you can satisfy all of them. Not knowing that the main thing to pay attention to is not their libido per se. Their libido is important, but the libido is having a problem because their circulatory system, their cardiovascular health is having problems. So they go to take all those concoctions that energizes and enhances their performances for a while. So they go today, and then the thing goes back and reverts back to its former previous position. They have not resolved the problem. Eventually, the cardiovascular health is aggravated. Now, there are triplets. We call them triplets, the trio, the evil trio that you don't want to have in your health history. 3 of them. Number one is the hypertension. Number 2 is diabetes. And number 3 is renal failure, kidney impairment. The point is that each of these 3 has the capacity to introduce to your life and to your health any of the other 2. And in some cases, it can introduce the other 2. So somebody can have all the 3 in their health at the same time. How terrible. Each of them is fatal, is worse enough to lead to death, if not well managed. How much more when you now have 2 of the 3, or when you have all the 3 in your system? But because proper care is not taken by most men, they start with 1. When that one is not well diagnosed, it is not properly managed. Most cases, they mask it. They mask it with all the concoctions, all the herbs. I'm talking about herbs. Nothing is wrong with herbs, but use herbs for the right purposes. They go to get the herbs that will enhance their libido instead of getting herbs that will help to address their cardiovascular issues. So they go to get the herbs. So you get the herbs, yet the main thing that should be addressed, they are not addressed. And so when they're not well diagnosed, well managed, they aggravate. It is when they aggravate, they now go to open the door. Diabetes, hypertension, anything could come in. Somebody could have diabetes and from there could have high blood pressure. Somebody could have hypertension, then from there could have kidney failure. Somebody could have kidney failure, have diabetes, have high blood pressure. They are all very possible because people do not diagnose well enough. They do not take care of their health as when they should. So I'm talking about paying attention to your sexual health. And so we start by talking about sustaining an erection or getting an erection. And so when as a man you cannot sustain or get an erection, what it means is that the blood supply to your penis as a man is tampered with, is compromised. When it comes to cardiovascular health, like I said last week, there are 3 things to consider. We consider the quality of the blood, we consider the quantity of the blood, and then the integrity of the blood vessels. The vessels of the blood, the peripherals of the blood, the heart, the muscle of the heart, the pipes that are supplying the blood are things we pay attention to. Now, when it comes to your heart and your circulatory system, you have to become a plumber. A plumber now, when you get to your house, all the pumps, the faucets, the pipes, everything, they are working with pipes. Pipes are carrying out waste from your kitchen, your bathroom, your toilet. Then some pipes are returning clean water back into the house. That is the same way your heart your cardiovascular system operates, supplying blood to every part of your body and to sustain the functions of the various parts of your body. And so when you do not properly address those issues, first of all, let's address the circulatory issues, then we can now address the other issues that are coming up. If you address the circulatory issues, then we can now address the symptoms that springs up because of the circulatory problem. Now, because there is not enough flow of blood to the penis, then erection might be difficult to get or sustain. Some will get the erection and then it goes down. Why? Something is wrong with them with the flow of blood to that part of the body. So instead of handling that, men begin to go to carry herbs. You don't need to do that. Now, like I said last week, please go back, listen to the tapes, to the video of last week. I mentioned the signs to look out for and what to do properly when you are beginning to have all of these symptoms. So go back and listen to them. They would help you. How do you diagnose? What do you do when you are faced with this problem? Now, I want to talk about andropause, because for women, it is menopause. For men, it is andropause. So in the case of women, you want to look at, they get to a particular age where their cycle stops and then they do not have menstruation like they used to do before, right? That is in the case of women. But for men, what happens to men? Men also get into andropause. And what happens in andropause? Because all of these are things that men need to be educated upon and then they can manage effectively. Unfortunately, I think men are now entering into andropause, into this phase, quicker than before. Just as we see the longevity potential being reduced because of several factors. Key among them are that our living habits are becoming poorer by the day. And so the things that we do, like last week, I was sharing with you last week, the statistics from the WHO, that in countries like in Kenya, where 65% of their young people are already engaged in tobacco smoking, 65% of people between the ages of 20 and 35 are tobacco smokers. In cities, it's about between kids between the ages of 13 and 15, 28% of their young boys between age 13 and 15 are already engaged in tobacco smoking. We don't have data for Nigeria. I know it will be worse because the science student philosophy of movement is gaining ground right now in Nigeria. When you now begin to see kids that are just leaving primary school, smoking soak away, smoking gutter, smoking everything and all the likes of that. All of that will begin to reduce our longevity potential, at the long run. And so we begin to move towards this kind of thing. Men begin to enter into andropause quicker. And then when that age begins to come, I said last week and I'm saying it again here, because certain things they will say because you are getting old, you begin to lose interest. It's not because you are getting, don't let anybody use old age. Old age is not a sickness. It's not a disease. It's not. It is the way we have viewed it. Now we now make it look like a disease. It's not a disease. Now begin to get to a particular age in your life when people begin to tell you that, what interests you, suddenly you begin to lose interest in those things. They will tell you you are losing those interests because of old age. It is not because of old age. You are beginning to enter into andropause. Now you're going to look for new adventures. The strength you have before, you don't have it anymore. The things that excite you. When I say strength, now I'm talking about drive. The drive you have before, you don't have anymore. I doubt how many Nigerians will, at the age of 70, 75, still want to run for presidency. Now, people say, young people are ruining the world. I have not heard them say the same thing right now. Only Trump and Biden. Both of them, average age will be about 75 between the two candidates running for the US presidency. So it's not about your age. It's about your heart. How young are you at heart? How many Nigerians at that age will still want to run for office? How many? Now, let's forget about the politicians that have no heart. The reason Nigeria is the way it is today is because the people that could have risen and fight for this nation, they've already entered into their andropause. That's the point. They are tired. They can't, at 60, at 50, they are tired. Senator, what's his name again? my God, why did I forget this man's name? He didn't win the ticket for the Democratic Party. Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders, how old is Bernie Sanders? He's been fighting that battle for several years. In Nigeria, how many fighters do you get? Before they hit the age 65, something will kill them, they will die. Those that get to age 65, they lose the steam, they lose the energy, they lose the vigor. And that is what happens. Because when that begins to happen, they are unable to train and to raise and to pass on to the next or oncoming generation the ideals that will sustain the legacy that they are leaving behind. So those of just come behind and they will squash everything. Why? A man is been missing in the link. Somebody who should move them forward, somebody who should make them understand how to run things, is lost the steam. They just allow things to just pass. Why? They say they are getting old. It is a sign of andropause. When you see men who sustain their steam all through the years, check them out. From cradle to grave, their principles remain the same. The things they will say no to, they will keep saying no until they die, until they breathe their last. They will not waver in principle. But you see, when people begin to tell you that, okay, now you are getting old, you should overlook some things. And then you are beginning to even overlook important things of your life. It's because you are entering into andropause. Psychologically, mentally, you are shutting down. You are winding down. It's a sign that you begin to pay attention to your health from that point. At 45, they are telling you are getting old. They tell you life begins. They say life begins at 40. But in our setting, if at 40 you have not done A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, life is done for you. It's another psychological thing that happens to men, because by the time they enter the age of 40, they begin to compare themselves with their peers, and they think if they have not done something or achieved anything, then it is over for them. That mounts unnecessary and undue pressure on them. Somebody said the only drive they have in Nigeria is to marry many wives at old age. I don't know what I'm talking about. What I'm saying is that, if by the time you begin to now compare yourself with other people, you begin to have undue pressure. Now you have to plan your life at so age, you should be here, you should be there. But now you are that age, you are not there. So what do? A lot of men lose it at that point. Now you begin to see the drive, unnecessary pressure to do this, to do that. They want to kill themselves. Now, let me say this. Life is in 3 phases, and each phase is in 40 years. So forget about a fool at 40 is a fool forever. Who says? Abraham Lincoln. List many great men. The man who owns KFC, Sanders. There are several of them. Life for them began after they passed the age of 40. So let nobody give you that philosophy that because you did not make your billions, your millions before the age of 40, you cannot make it again in life. It is a lie. Stop following motivational speakers. Life is in 3 phases. Each phase has 40 years. The first 40 years are your learning years. The first 40 years are your learning years. So whatever mistake you made before the age of 40, you were learning. And please, it's too early to conclude about who made it, who didn't make it at your 40th birthday. There are many people who will never attend their school alumni program because they believe, wow, when they check the scorecards, they are nowhere to be found. If they begin to compare themselves with their mates, quit this unnecessary pressure that you put on yourself as a man. Understand that time and chance happens to every man. The first 40 years are your learning years. You have learned. You have put your hand into businesses. You have failed. You have taken decisions. You have failed. You have done several things in your life that have not worked out. All those are learning. Learn from those mistakes. The next 40 years are your earning years. In your learning years, you were paying school fees. Yeah. So in the next 40 years are your earning years. Let me say this to you. There are money I make right now that I don't even work for. I don't even do any, I don't stress myself. They come because they were things I had worked for in my first 40 years. Now the money, they just come. People just call me within your services and they pay. We have paid into your account. Yeah, I know some fees I charge now. If I charge them some 3-4 years back, people will say, we don't go pay. It's the truth. And it grows with time. The same happens to everyone. Now, don't give up on yourself or give up on life. Because you are 40, it's not enough. Take it like the first 40 years, your learning years, you learned. And if you did not learn, you have not yet wasted it. You can still go back and learn, relearn, and retrain yourself. The next 40 years are your earning years. That is between 41 and 80 years. They are your earning years. These years, you begin to reap the reward of the labors, the profit, and the things you did in your first 40 years. Now, the last 40 years are your yearning years. These are the years when you are yearning to go. So between 80 and 120, you are free to kaput and go. Anytime you cross at that time is okay. Because at that time, you are yearning. I know of somebody, I won't mention his name. He said he was celebrating his 70th birthday, and they came and they were praying for him. And he said, Daddy, you'll be 80. He said, Amen. He said, Daddy, you'll be 90. He said, Amen. You'll be 100. He said, Amen. You'll be 110. He said, he stopped saying Amen. He said 120. He stopped saying Amen. He said, when they wanted to continue, he said, oh God, hold on. What offense have I committed that God will keep me in this wretched world for 120 years? Of course. What are you looking for here? At 80, from 80 upward, you start telling God, it's time to go. Whatever you have done there is a legacy. You are yearning for the other side. So it's not enough even at 70 to say it is over. There are people who are getting dreams and visions at age 70, and their lives are going on. So Andropos could come in several ways and several dimensions that it takes you to understand properly the seasons of your life and run it well. That somebody made it before you before the age of 40 does not mean that that person will make it before you or make it better than you by the age of 80. It depends. It's not yet over. As long as you are still breathing, there is still hope and there is still life. So take life in those phases. One more thing about Andropos, because now all of these are things that culminate together and they affect manhood. It affects even their sex drive. It affects, somebody said they married too many wives in old age in Nigeria. I don't know how they satisfy those men. Those are questions that people should begin to ask them. Those women they marry, how do they please them? Because when you are not having good health, how do you marry many wives? How do you satisfy all of them in bed? There are things to ask, because that will also lead me to the next point, which is about the prostate health, another health marker for men, the prostate health of men. Lots of us are not properly educated when it comes to prostate health. I have seen people who had prostate enlargement and they were diagnosed and being treated for prostate cancer. Two different conditions, two different ailments. The advice is that the moment you are clocking the age 40, as a man, you should go for a prostate test at least once in a year. And now know that in some countries of the world, they are saying once in 2 years or 3 years. But at least do a proper medical check and exam so that it can be caught early and it can be handled. A lot of these things are things that can be handled if diagnosed right on time. But most times we don't pay attention. We just begin to use you go get aboniki, you get what is called alabukun. I think people just take and swallow instead of paying attention, getting proper diagnosis, for their health. Your prostate health as a man is very key. It could be a very strong and important health marker in determining how healthy you are. Number 5, the colon health. This is in the last 1 month or 2 months. It's been a hit back to back when it comes to the colon health of men. It's been a hit back to back. And the last one that happened last week was the death of the Wakanda guy, Bossman. Right? And I'm surprised, why are people dying of colon conditions? Number 1, pay attention to your bowel movement, even right from now, because that is the earliest indication you can ever have. How often do you go to the bathroom? The time allowed between when food enters into your mouth and when the waste of that food process is passed out from your rectum is 24 hours. What it only goes to say is that you should have a bowel movement. You should poop. Let me say it very well in the way you understand. You have to defecate, pass out feces once in 24 hours. And we have seen people who go on for days without having bowel movement. And they wonder why things are going. Because when you don't pay attention to it at that stage, at that age, it begins to grow. It could be the earliest indication that something is wrong with your colon, and you want to pay attention to it. Now, again, emphasis needs to be placed on the consumption of cooked meals. I say this, 2 functions in our life will decrease as we age. One of them is our digestive ability. As we begin to grow old, our ability to digest food decreases. So attention and emphasis must be laid on the fact that as you grow older, you should begin to eat more of raw food and less of cooked meals. You should eat more of raw meals than cooked meals. This will help. Even if you have a condition with your colon, this will reduce the pressure on your colon at the long run and help your digestion very well. And then all this consumption of recreational substances, marijuana, India, the likes of them should be checked. Eating habits that are not healthy. Your stomach is the size of your fist, Whatever you eat outside of that is like you are stretching it beyond normal. And it's not a permanent storage. It's only a temporary storage. So if you are in the habit of eating because you have suffered in your previous life, now you want to eat all the food that you missed in your previous life in this new life, then you are only trying to hasten and quicken your step towards the grave. Don't dig your grave with your fork and your knife. That is what people are using to dig their graves these days. They are using their fork and their knife to dig their graves. So it's advisable, as a man, you are eating the 835 and 40, your emphasis should be on raw food and not cooked food. Your emphasis should be on eating more of plant-based protein, not animal protein. You see men who want to sit down, especially, apologies to my Ibadan brethren, when you go to all those Buka Amala joints in Ibadan, where they will give you Amala in one small bowl. They will give you the soup on top of the Amala. They will not carry a big bowl. They will put all the meat in the world, the okra, the heart, the ear, the teeth, the tongue, everything. You put it there, roundabout, a body, shaki, everything. Loaded. You eat, you say your money has arrived. Your money has not arrived. What they are only telling you that they're helping you to dig your grave. All these are things you need to pay attention to as you age. Pay attention, de-emphasize cooked food, emphasize more of raw food. And when you say raw food, because it's again another thing that I've noticed, people come to say, I'm eating healthy. Please, let me say this. Sound note of caution. Many people are not here right now. They will be like, after all, some people are eating healthy and they are dying. And we are living more than them. It is not everybody who eats things that are eating healthy. If some people say, I don't eat all of these things, my food is clean, it doesn't mean they are healthy. There is a proper way to do it. There's a science behind it, especially when you have missed the first phase of your life. You have spent it eating junks. You spend them eating food that are not promoting health. You now want to reverse. There's a science behind it. Don't just look at because you take fruits. Somebody will say, I'm taking fruits and vegetables. No. It is more than taking fruits and vegetables. It's more than that. As a matter of fact, your emphasis should be more on vegetables and fruits. Many people don't even know the difference between fruits and vegetables. The reason you need to learn, there's a need to learn the science behind this. I call it intentional feeding. Intentional eating, and it contains of two things. Number one is eliminating non-health promoting food from your diet completely. The second part of it is intentionally introducing food promoting health, especially health promoting food, especially food that are specific to specific conditions. Foods that are specific to specific conditions. You have to intentionally introduce them into your diet. For example, when I was speaking about sexual health the other time, there are certain foods that when you ingest them, they will help your health. One of them is the consumption of unpolished rice, non-polished rice, or further rice that people just think is a party rice. If you are eating parboiled rice, you are losing out on your sexual health. Sexual health can be promoted by the consumption of further rice because it contains certain nutrients that will boost your energy. Again, watermelon. People just don't know, why watermelon helps libido. It's not helping libido. What it means that it's helping to increase circulation to the penis. That's what it does. The same way it will help for men, the same way it will help women. Because women also have the same problem. Women who have dry vagina, women who do not have, they have low sex drive, low libido. They don't enjoy sex anymore. It's becoming more of an exercise in pain than in pleasure, because the circulatory system to their private part is already disconnected. Now, if you take watermelon from the back to the seed, which we always advocate, you have lubrication, you have easy flow, and there are several other herbs that you can take, natural substances that you can take. I call those intentional feeding. It's going to help you to intentionally supply your body with the nutrients that will help to correct those conditions in your system. So the same goes for your prostate, same goes for your colon. There are things that you will eat that will help you to, that will help your colon. It will help to ease out your colon. Then the last one, which I will mention, is that the last one or the seventh one? Yeah, it's the seventh one. It's the pH levels. You see some men, the armpit of certain clothes that they have can never be clean or go back to white anymore. Why? The acidic level, the pH level of their body is very acidic, and your body does not need to be acidic. Okay, this is number 6. Number 7 should be oxygen combustion. Your body does not need to be in an acidic pH point. Many of us, our bodies are at a very acidic level. Now, this is the danger. When your body's pH is always acidic, it is a breeding ground. It's a good ground for the growth of infection, to initiate a disease process. Infections, if an opportunistic infection lands on your body, it has a good place to grow. The second one is that some certain disease process can be initiated because your body is acidic. One of them is cancer. Cancers will always thrive in an acidic environment. Cancer cells will always thrive in acidic environment. Again, there are several bacteria that will only thrive in acidic environment. So there's a need for us to ensure that our body is not always in that acidic level. And how does that happen? Number one, like what I just mentioned right now, that we should de-emphasize the consumption of cooked meals and emphasize more on raw food. Cooked meals will place your body on that level. Raw food will help to, balance the pH of the body and make sure that the body is not acidic, but put it in an alkaline state. It should be alkaline, not too alkaline, but it should be alkaline. It shouldn't be acidic in any way. You can test your body's acid level from your saliva, from your urine, and then they can take your blood and also check. But saliva and urine, there are things you can do yourself. When we're in secondary school, you remember those strip tests that you can do to do pH tests? You can do them. They can be informative to help you what is going on. Then you can go to the clinic and have a proper blood work. Go to the lab, do a proper blood work, and check all your results. Check your pH level. Check the level of sodium. Check your TSH. Check certain things in your body. I won't talk about your thyroid health, on this episode, because that's another long thing on its own. But by the time you begin to look at all of these indices, they help you to know what state your health is. And the last one is the oxygen combustion rate of your health as a man. Now, some of the factors I discussed while talking about cardiovascular health last week will also tell us how much of oxygen you combust and how the quality of the oxygen you breathe into your body and how your body is utilizing the oxygen. This is the mix. This is how it works. I was sharing this, funny enough, at the FASH boot camp today among those children, and they were so intelligent. They got all of it. Now, plants give out oxygen in a process called photosynthesis. They require sunlight, they require carbon dioxide to manufacture their food in the presence of water and then a pigment called chlorophyll. When this process goes on, oxygen is released as a byproduct. The oxygen they release is what we uptake as humans. We need that oxygen for us to carry on life. Now, oxygen engagement is beyond respiration. Respiration, like we know it, respiration is beyond breathing in, breathe out, breathing in. That is, respiration is more than that. Respiration is the combustion that takes place within your body to produce energy. How much energy is being produced determines how well you are respiring as a human being. For so many men, the energy production level is poor. In some cases, it is next to zero. They are not healthy because the oxygen going in and the what is going on, the combustion rate, just like you put fuel into your car, right? Your car drives on fuel, right? Now, the same way your body drives on oxygen, right? So when the oxygen, Pastor Akinobi, how are you, sir? When the oxygen level eats, when oxygen eats your body, every cell in your body requires that oxygen. And there's a device in your cell. I call it the device. It's called mitochondria. It's a powerhouse. This is where your nutrients are all being broken down and then oxygen is produced. It's in about 3 phases, and there are so many things. That's a very big thing I don't want to compound, because respiration is very huge, right? There's the Krebs cycle part of respiration. Now, but the point is this. Now, your body can be in an aerobic environment or an anaerobic environment. Anaerobic environment means that it is starved or deprived of oxygen. That is where aerobics comes, the word aerobics come in. Aerobics comes in at that point, the word aerobics. And what is aerobics? That is why, exercise, people say we are doing fitness and all of that. It has to be aerobics, not just fitness. That means you don't lock up yourself in a room without ventilation and you are saying you are doing physical fitness, because there is no ventilation. Oxygen, the word aerobics itself means air and bio. Aero, bio. That's what it means. So it means a combination of air and bio. And the air they were talking about last year is oxygen. And carbon dioxide too is involved, because it's a two-way process that is running at the same time, concurrently. Now, when oxygen goes into your body, the cells receives it. It's another process of respiration, which is the internal respiration. Now, so it is distributed to the tissues and the cells. Now, they begin to use the uptake it to complete that process where energy is produced, is released. ATP, adenosine triphosphate. Now, when that is released, there is a byproduct. The byproduct is carbon dioxide and water. Now, listen, the carbon dioxide, as the oxygen is coming in, carbon dioxide is being passed out by the cell to the next cell, to the adjoint cell, and is being passed out from your body. So when you breathe out that carbon dioxide, it is the waste product from every cell in your body, from the crown of your head to the sole of your feet, that all comes out together, that you are pushing out as carbon dioxide within your system. Now, this is the catch. When you do not respire properly, and we will talk about how to respire properly. If you do not respire properly, it means that you are trapping certain things within your system. That's number one. Number two, your body, your cells are starved and deprived of the oxygen necessary for them to carry out their basic functions, mainly production of energy. Energy deprived cells are cancer cells. So when you begin to hear cancer, there are several factors. And these factors are very simple to explain and break down in layman terms so that everybody can know how to pay attention to their health. So the role of oxygenation in prevention of cancer and in maintaining a healthy life is very crucial. So you are getting old, no more time for exercise, no more time for physical fitness is a dangerous thing. So you want to be active. Don't just sit down at beer parlor and they serve you. You are watching Man U and Arsenal. See those boys playing the football. They are Nigeria now. Should we tell them how Kanuwako was? Taye Taiwo. Taye Taiwo was 18 years old or whatever, and his twin brother was celebrating his 40th birthday right in Nigeria. But look at his face. He looks young. He looks agile. That it could pass for an 18-year-old boy. Why? Because he's on the field playing. You will sit down, you pay money to go and watch them. You are not making money. You are even still killing your health. The number of bottles you will take while the match is going on. As you are even watching the match, you are screaming. Your high blood pressure is a go. It's a go. It's a go. He missed the ball. Your pressure is raised again. You are killing your head. Sitting down on that chair. When was the last time you jump on the football field to go and join them to play? And it's not something you do once in a while. It's something you have to be doing. It's not because you want to be fit. When people are fit, they just think it's because I can jump up alone. No, it's because this fitness routine inspires in one way or the other the way your body respires. It inspires, is an inspiration for your respiration. So if your systems are not inspired properly to carry out proper respiration, your body will become oxygen deprived. When your body becomes oxygen deprived, it's a breeding ground for diseases and disease conditions to thrive. That's the way it works. And then in my study as a microbiologist, we understand that certain organisms, certain microbes, most of the ones that actually affect human health, they are anaerobic microorganisms. When we say anaerobic, it means that they can breathe, they can live, they can thrive, they can survive in an oxygen-deprived environment. In fact, most of them will die when oxygen is introduced to them, in the presence of oxygen, most of them will die. So you find like the hydrogen peroxide, you remember hydrogen peroxide, which is used in treating wounds so that infections will not grow from there. Some people use it to clean their ears. It's because of the oxygen in there, because when it goes in there, it mops up dirt, it mops up germs, it kills germs. Most germs, bacteria will not survive in the presence of oxygen. So therefore, if your body is oxygen supplied properly, oxygenation is going up in your body, it will be difficult for several microorganisms to thrive in your body, because those microorganisms, most of them, they cannot thrive in the presence of oxygen. Before I round up, bonus point, I will talk about water. Let me give this bonus point to our men. Let's talk about water, because now most people now consider it a sign of good life or good living to supplement water with other drinks. They drink every other thing but water. They drink soft drinks, beverages, and the likes. Don't talk about the alcohol consumption. Now, the point is that your engagement with water must be sufficient, because when you are dehydrated, even your brain it begins to shrink. Your brain is 75% made up of water. When you are dehydrated, your brain begins to shrink. There are people that what they are going through is dehydration. They think it is one disease, headache, migraine, but it's dehydration. When they handle dehydration, they will be able to handle those conditions. So my advice is that if you look at all of these steps we have mentioned, you can know whether you are in health or you are not in health. And I've given some clues and some suggestions that will be of help to you. This is how far we will go today. So I think I was able to complete this series with men. So by next week, I'm going to start talking about mental health. You see, let me give you a teaser to that. In Canada, over 100 brands of hand sanitizers were recorded in the month of June. I had the same number were recorded in the USA, because they were considered to be unfit, unhealthy for human health. One of the things that these chemicals that are introduced into these hand sanitizers do is that they intercept the melatonin receptor in your brain. So you wake up in the middle of the night when you're supposed to be asleep and you're unable to sleep. Now, it is not only the hand sanitizers, but I've only used hand sanitizer because a lot is going to be happening during this pandemic, because we are all going to be using hand sanitizers. But before hand sanitizers, there are so many other chemicals and products, skin and beauty care products, that are doing the same thing for so many people's health, and people don't really know. I'll be talking next week on what to do, starting next week, on mental health, the things to look out for, signs that something might be wrong with you when you are beginning to have panic attacks, anxiety, sleeplessness, the things that you can do to help yourself and help your health. I'll be discussing them and bringing them your way starting from next weekend. So they are episodes you don't want to miss. There are several people that they've placed them on antidepressants, antipsychotic medications. The common one is metazapine, 15 mg is not working. The increase of metazapine, 30 mg is not working. What I tell people that once you begin the journey, it's most likely you are going to continue. Many of the treatment do not take into consideration the diet, the lifestyle of these people, and there is no mental treatment. No, underline and underscore the word no. No mental treatment can be successful without paying attention to the gut health of the sufferer. How do I mean? Because when the brain is affected, you need an auxiliary brain. The auxiliary brain is the gut. This is what you can use to kickstart the health of the brain that is up there. I've had several clients and patients that people just tell me, they told me to be taking metazapine and I will sleep, and I'm not able to sleep. They told me to take this one, I've been taking it, antidepressant, antipsychotic, and we know that every antidepressant, read the marks, their side effect is depression. They have depression as a side effect. So is that a solution? No way. I will be coming your way next week. I'll be talking about foods. I'll be talking about diet, things that you can use, natural things that you can use, things to watch out for that will help you and help your health. Thank you very much for allowing us to be a part of your weekend. And then we'll see you again next week. Thank you. God bless you.